It's your first visit to Davos as well, and there are a lot of things for Poland to discuss. You are the epicenter, I would suggest, of so many important things going on in Europe, plus the fact, from the start of the year, Poland has the presidency of the EU. Is it a good opportunity to put a Polish agenda at the centre of Europe and actually, can I say, iron out some of those problems that Brussels seems to have with Warsaw?
Poland will, of course, act as an honest broker during our presidency, but also a very active one. We do believe it's time to accelerate in Europe. This is why our priorities for our presidency are crystal clear. We need to bring competitiveness back to Europe, and from the very first day we started discussion about that.
But sir, whether it was a Hungarian presidency just gone by, whether it was any country, everyone always says we want to foster growth and competition. I could read every starting document from every leader and it would read the same as well. We know the recipe. The US is doing, we're talking. How do we move on?
We will cut the talk and we will move to action. And yesterday we had still the discussion about simplification of European law and the regulation in many aspects of economic life. We had Commissioner Dombrovskis here as well, and we do expect Commission to act very quickly. We expect the so-called competitiveness compass to be presented still in January.
But what is really interesting as well, if I may say so, is Piotr Serafin has got the budget portfolio as well. And dare I say it, Poland, like a lot of people, running a really big budget deficit. We can talk about why in a moment. I know there's some specific reasons why. But actually, is this going to be a new era where the old budget rules are finally ripped up and we establish that actually running 5-6% deficits, that's going to be okay for Europe?
No, I don't think so. We need to have a prudent macroeconomic policy. We have adopted yesterday also a set of fiscal plans for EU countries, and it's absolutely clear that we need to reduce deficit in many countries. Also in Poland, we will reduce our deficit below 3% threshold in 2028.
But how are you going to do that? I mean, look, you've got a 5.7% deficit, give or take a moment. And I know you don't want to be in excessive debt procedures, EDP, because of the enormous amount that Poland is spending, quite frankly, fortifying the eastern flank. I've been down to Poland, I've spoken to the ministers there, I've spoken to the president there as well. But there's always going to be an exception. Oh, we want an exception because it's green investment. We want an exception because of defence. We want an exception because of digitisation. There's a lot of things that need a lot of money spent on, and I don't see how we get anywhere near to 3% ever again.
You are right. We spent this year close to 5% on defence. 5%. Precisely 4.7%. And not only it's the highest share among NATO members, but also we spent the highest share of those defense spending actually on buying and modernizing our equipment. So we are doing really well, and we are protecting actually Europe by our military spending. But our economy this year is projected to grow by 3.5% by IMF. Our internal projections are even higher. So we see lots of new investments. We see that the consumer in Poland is still very strong. So there are new engines of growth in my country. Of course, we see quite a sluggish recovery in the Eurozone, which is hitting our exports to those countries. Having said that, we are pretty optimistic about Polish economy. And because of this growth, we expect the deficit to go down step by step.
But interest rates are barely moving. Inflation is way above target as well. You've got, and if I'm correct in saying interest rates 5.7%, you've got inflation at 4.7%. That's going to constrain budgets when you've still got inflationary issues and high interest rates.
Well, inflation is going down slowly, but going down, and central bank is expecting it to reach its target. Market is expecting central bank to cut interest rates in Poland. I'm not commenting the central bank moves, but also in our projections we expect central bank to cut interest rates, what would be of course beneficial for investments in Poland.
Tell me about other investments in Poland as well. And again, I appreciate what Poland is doing, and I understand what you're doing on a military front as well, although that's, as you say, a commitment way above what NATO has asked for. But obviously your country feels it needs to defend itself, obviously, from what's going on over the border as well. But you need to spend more money, Minister, on your ecological transformation. If there was a country in Europe that could do more to get rid of coal, Poland's up there, isn't it, with one of the countries that needs to actually really move on quicker with renewable energy and a transition?
Actually, we have already accelerated with spending on energy transition. We are investing in grid, we are investing in renewables. We have even secured funds for first Polish nuclear plant, which is also would be very beneficial for Polish system. So I believe we are doing a lot. The share of coal in our energy mix is the lowest in the history. What
share is it still, though, sir?
It's below 50%.
Which is still dramatic. I mean, the country, dare I say it, like the United Kingdom, they don't have coal anymore. Yes. So Poland's got a long way to go. I know that there's a history, but then there was in the UK as well, to be fair.
We are doing our job step by step. Yeah. The previous government was not really interested in investing in renewables. We are doing that. We are investing in grid and also in nuclear energy. So I'm pretty convinced that we will manage to lower the share of fossil fuels in our energy mix.
If Poland were to have direct bilateral conversations with Donald Trump, it would probably avoid sanctions on the basis of the fact that it's got an enormous army when it's building up a huge percentage of its GDP spending on defence as well. But because you are part of a multilateral organisation, it will be targeted like every other nation as well. How does Poland deal with President Trump under those circumstances?
Of course, our Polish relations with US are very, very good. And so we have, as you said, we are buying lots of US military equipment, tanks, fighter jets, actually, you name it, we buy it. But as a European Union, of course, we must and we will remain united in our relations with US. It's, of course, the most important for EU to focus on bringing back competitiveness back to Europe. I do believe this is the best answer for any possible tension with US to make European economy stronger. And we know how to do it. And we will do it step by step. And during Polish presidency, we will put competitiveness at the very heart of the discussion.